Welcome back, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Cavol Knives Denka. This is a small fifth pocket carrying knife at just 5.87 inches long with a 2.6 inch blade of Bowler M390 steel, hardened to 59 to 61 HRC. You have a very interesting looking blade, nothing that I've ever seen before. Lots of different facets. You got this wedge here that goes into this nice hollow grind. And being that it's such a short grind height, I'm glad they went with the hollow grind. They were actually able to get it pretty thin behind the edge at around 12 thousandths. So really thin behind the edge at around 12 thousandths. Now it's going to start thickening up rather quickly because there's only so much you can do at that height right there. You have a needle light point right there for piercing. Excellent for doing drag cuts. I can still get that tip down onto what I'm doing rather easily. You do have a forward finger choil right here. Now this is my first knife ever from Cavol Knives. They sent this in for a review, and I had checked out their site, and a lot of their stuff looked rather interesting. They sell premium knives, and I wanted to see how premium the knife was and if it was worth the price tag. So this is going to be one that I'm interested to test, and why don't we see how well this thing performs. The knife came decently sharp from the factory. However, this knife has a pretty high tip, so you're probably not going to want to do any long cutting with this through like cardboard or anything like that, because you probably will slide out just because of the way it tapers all the way up like that. It's doing this type of stuff fine. I decided to go straight down like that just to make it a little bit easier, and I'm kind of surprised. You know, it's such a little blade. Sometimes you wonder if they're useful in the least, but this one was decently slicey. The hollow grind kind of saved it, being it has such a short grind height. Now it's not the best slicer in the whole world, but it can get the job done. Now we're testing the ergos, see how good it feels in the hand while cutting this wood. Started out light pressure, and it's pretty comfortable. You don't have to worry about any pocket clip jabbing you in the hand or anything, because it does not have a pocket clip, and you have contoured titanium scales. Now it is kind of thin in hand and narrow, so I did find myself gripping it a lot tighter. I do like how I can choke up right up to that edge, and you don't really have any fear of, you know, cutting yourself, because that part of the edge where I'm choked up to is blunted. That's where the knife's going to shine, right, doing this type of stuff, drag cuts. It's like a little scalpel. That tip was super sharp, passed through there very nicely. It's going to be good for doing light detailed activity, like, you know, if you're trying to cut a stencil out or something. And I'm very shocked at this point that it's doing as well as it is with all this stuff. I mean, it was not doing as good as, say, you know, a full-size EDC knife, but it's handling it all nicely. The blade still has decent bite to it. You can see I'm using that pointer finger grip, and the blade has to be decently sharp to do that, because it's hard to put a lot of pressure down into material with your pointer finger up on top of the spine. Now I move to the 1/2 inch sisal rope, still going strong, and I mean, you don't have a whole lot of edge to work with, so, you know, you're going to dull out, you know, certain sections quicker than you would with, say, a 3.5 inch blade or bigger. But it's doing well. I can feel that it's not super thin behind the edge, but it's not bad at all. And I did not expect to get this far with it being such a small knife. This is something you're just going to grab to make a quick cut with it, put it up, and go about your business. For me, I've been carrying this in a EDC pouch. I find that's the best way for me to carry it, because I love a pocket clip, and when they don't have a pocket clip, that's the easiest way for me to carry, and I still enjoy carrying it that way. So not bad. It performed better than I expected, and definitely interested to check out more of their knives and see how they are as well. I must say I was rather shocked that such a small knife did so well. Now let's take a look at the deployment of the action of the knife. It has a thumb disc, not something I'm usually into, but as you can see, hopefully it's stepped underneath there. No sharp spots. I can easily get my finger underneath it and it rockets out. Well-tuned detent, nice and smooth action, nice and snappy action, no matter which way I do it. And they got a nice little pop of color with a Damascus thumb disc. Nice polished Damascus. It looks really, really nice. And as far as this blade hole, I think that's just to balance out the knife. Let's see where this balance point's at. So yeah, they were just trying to balance out the knife, I'm sure, by cutting this out, because you can't use that blade hole at all. It's secluded into the handle. Now, my handle, they have two different variations. Mine's the dark, I think, black titanium, or I don't know what they call it, but it's darker titanium with a nice brush finish on it. It looks really, really nice. I know it's probably not coming across in the camera, but I love that look. You can't really feel those lines, but it feels nice to the touch. Nice contoured scales. You have a decorative pivot with polished titanium pivot ring that's anodized blue, which looks really, really nice with the contrasted to the thumb disc. You have T8 hardware that's very crisp. Look at that hardware. Some of the nicest hardware I've ever seen. Not completely countersunk. It does sit up a little bit above the scales because of the contouring. You have a beautiful, beautiful Damascus backspacer and lanyard hole. That, I gotta say, it just really sets this knife off with the dark color, and then you have that beautiful pop of color with the Damascus. Now, if you know anything about Damascus, it's not a cheap material, so that right there and that right there is going to drive the price up on this. Plus titanium, M390, and we just saw it performed really, really well for such a small knife. Let's take a look at the inside. You have the skeletonized show side scale, and they got Cavol, and then the designer's name, I think it's Tagusa? Tagus? Wait, what is it? Tiguass. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. And on the other side, we have a partial inset liner lock with some skeletonization on the titanium. Hopefully that is clear as well. Bringing the weight down to 2.49 ounces. Very nice. During the cutting, it was pretty comfortable. I was able to choke all the way up right here. Fairly comfortable. You don't have any pocket clip to worry about. That's one thing I wish I would have had as a pocket clip. No hot spots, but it is a thinner scaled knife. It's like 0.47 thick, and then it's narrow as well. So I was squeezing the knife a lot tighter, which is going to cause you to fatigue your wrist forms and stuff like that. But like I said, in the cutting, it's a smaller knife. Usually use a knife like this to make a quick cut, you know, break open a box, bust down a box or something like that, and then put it up. But as you can see, you can do a lot more than just that with this knife. When it came to carrying this knife, I hate just dropping a knife in my pocket loose. I can't stand that. So the way I carried it most of the time, I got this cheap slip from Amazon. It's from Easy Ant. It's very, I don't even know if it's real leather, but it's very thin. Keep a flashlight in here, the Streamlight Micro Stream USB, and a pocket pen. And I usually keep this either in my front pocket or back pocket. And this one fits nicely. I had another, my garage built gear pouch that I carried it in, but this one is easy to carry in my back pocket. That's the way I for the most part carried this one, and I didn't mind it like that. Now let's take a look at the lockup. It's sitting at around 40% or so. Access to the lock bar, even though this is flush, they did a good enough job with putting the chamfer there, and it's wide enough that I can get my thumb in there. Now, would I have wanted that to come down a little bit lower? Yeah, it would have made it even easier, but as it sits, it's not bad for my fingers at least. Your lockup, very, very tight lockup. I mean, I'm not muscling anything out of here. Very tight lockup, no movement whatsoever. Now for some quick size comparisons, we have the Spyderco Dragonfly 2 and the Concept Goblin. Next we have the Kaiser Mini Sheepdog and the Kaiser Mini October. Probably my closest size reference is Spyderco Techno 2. And then we have the Giant Mouse Ace Riv. All right, now for my nitpicks and complaints. First off, back of that edge is awfully close to the end of those scales, as you can see right there. And for some reason I thought it was blunted right there, but it's not. I can touch that. Now, running my fingers like that, I don't think I haven't had any problems with it, and mine's been staying in a pouch anyway. But would have loved to see them change it to where you couldn't touch that. Definitely wish it had a pocket clip. But like I said, the carrying this in the back pocket really wasn't an issue. This is more of a backup blade for me, at least. And I think the biggest thing is the price tag. This knife is coming in at $328. Now, I get it. You got a pretty nice sized chunk of Damascus for your backspacer and for the thumb disc. And M390 steel, okay, and titanium with some really nice finishing work. Now, I will say the finishing and the details and the action, everything, it kind of has that Riot feel. I don't know who the OEM for this is, or if Cavol's the OEM. Not sure of that. Definitely has that Riot quality. But at $328, that is an awful lot of money for such a small knife. I would have rather have it, you know, if this costs that and that costs so much, I would rather not have that. Just make it titanium, anodize it blue. And I think it would have been an easier sell for me. But if you're looking for a smaller knife without a pocket clip, that's different, well made, I think it looks good, then this one might be for you. But I really think it's going to seclude a lot of the market there. Definitely happy I was able to check it out. And I'm not saying it's a bad knife in any way, because it's definitely a high quality knife. Just think it's going to be out of the price range for most of my viewers. So there you go. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I hope everybody's having an absolute amazing day. And I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.